Monk here with Self-Contained News, and I'm talking to the, screenwriter, and co-writer, and a part of the cast.
And I played a very small part in the film.
Of the show Hunky Dory. Now this one I have marked, I believe, as a feature.
Yes.
So this is a longer one, about 88 minutes, I think it was, something like that. So we're talking about a story about a drag queen who has to basically take care of his own son.
Yeah, I would say he was more, not to interrupt you, but I would say he's more of he's sort of a glam rocker. He's a failed glam rocker. He's a guy who wanted to be David Bowie, like a modern day David Bowie.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And he just never could quite make it. Like, he just never had the, whatever it is that, you need to have in order to, like, get to that level of success. Yeah. But he never let go of his, aspirations to be something amazing. And he just sort of, like, lives in this lifestyle that he's created for himself.
Oh,
but he sort of, he struggles with this, like, the failed aspirations of being this glam rocker. And part of this lifestyle that he sort of created for himself was doing drag as a type of performance. Okay. Because he also knew that he could make money. So, he's a bit of a grifter, he's a bit of a hustler. Exactly. He hustles his friends for money, he hustles people. Like, he's not, he's kind of like, he's a survivor. Yeah. But he makes some very questionable decisions with his life.
Okay.
But in the meantime, he does have this kid, right? It's his 11-year-old son. He gets to be sort of the every other weekend cool dad.
Okay.
So you see, and he's like, oh, I'm a big rock star.
Yeah.
He plays up this whole, rock star idea to his kid, and then one day his ex drops the kid off, and she disappears, and we don't know where she goes. And so he's forced to be full-time dad, and that's when things sort of like start to fall apart.
Really?
It's like he can't keep it together. But he's great with his kids. It's too bad that he's such a mess on the outside. Part of his journey is trying to figure out how to like balance the things that he wants to do in his life with the person he needs to be for his son.
Yeah. So where did you shoot this?
LA.
Yeah, LA.
All in LA, all in and around, like Echo Park, Silver Lake, downtown a little bit.
Which I guess kind of makes it easier for the concept that you're doing, because there is a lot of the. I've got friends that still live in LA, and it's very glam, and stuff.
I mean, LA is it's where people go to, fulfill their dreams more often than not.
Get stuck there.
They get stuck there, and those dreams don't always come true.
Or like Alice Cooper, they retire in Phoenix, which is funny there. Well, I like the concept. It sounds like there's a lot of growing and learning throughout it, like a lot of these films. I take it the father learns a lot. Are there moments where the father learns from the child? Is this one of those, or is this just life in general? As he learns, you follow him?
I think it's probably a little bit of both.
Okay.
I think he definitely learns from his kid. I think sometimes he's too busy sort of, being consumed by his own stuff to take a moment to really acknowledge and really understand what's happening.
Okay.
I think like most people, I think, he has narcissistic tendencies. Like he's the kind of guy who's just like on a path to, fulfill his immediate needs.
Yeah.
I think we've all met people like that. And too often, like, life's lessons are staring in the face, and they just can't. They're not quite getting it until eventually, like, if they're not a complete narcissist, if they're not pathologically narcissistic, there's like a little window of hope that sort of like sometimes kicks in, and you're like, wait a minute, there might be something wrong with me, and I might need to get this figured out. Exactly. And the moment that happens, that realization happens, there's hope.
Yeah. So is that what you were kind of looking at when you were making this, is to invoke that emotion of hope? Was there a kind of a...
I think it was more a sense of, like, empathy, honestly. And especially because the story is timeless. It's a story that's been told a million times. It's as old as, my director, Michael Curtis Johnson, talks about this all the time. It's as old as Charlie Chaplin and the Kid.
Yeah.
It's not something that you haven't already seen, especially like failed aspirations, the sort of like being too sort of closed-minded to see the reality that is in front of you. However, we wanted people to sort of allow themselves to experience these sort of like universal themes and universal struggles.
Yeah.
through the eyes of somebody that they would never encounter in their real life. Somebody that they were like, oh, I would never want anything to do with that. Perhaps never want to do it, or like they don't know anybody that's like that. Or they would never experience that type of lifestyle. But ultimately, every person, all walks of life, struggles with a lot of the same universal sort of themes and challenges.
And this is a good way to show that. That's perfect. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking.
You're so welcome.
I love this. I love the idea of this. I've known someone who goes out and drag and did that scene, who lived with us for a long time. So when I kind of heard the concept, I was like, I really want to talk to him about this. So thank you so much for talking to me. I do look forward to it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a feature length. I'm quite sure you can catch it at some point in time.